Hello and welcome back to the course. Now today we'll be looking at data validation. Before that, I would like to explain what data validation is. Okay, now data validation is just applying a set of rules to a particular part of a table, okay, that restricts or allows certain type of data. Okay, that is what data validation is. Now without further ado, let's dive into the practical parts of our course. Okay, now briefly on our screen you can see just a dummy database without any data in it, the Smith cookies. Okay, we have products ID as a colon, product name as a colon, delivery date, delivery time, delivery status, amount, and profit, all those as colons, okay, or fields that we have to impute data in. Now quickly, we want our product ID. Let's say we want our product ID to be numbers and our product name to be characters, let's say maximum of 15 letters, and our delivery date, time, and all of that. I want to put restrictions so you don't enter a different type of data within this table, so we don't get errors and all of that. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that using something called the data validation rule. Okay, now how do we get there? On your screen, okay, just go to data here and then look close to the data tools. You see data validation. Now click on it, okay, and then you start applying rules. Now in our company we have 100 products and our product ID, is from 100 to 200. Okay, so from 100, 101, 102, 103. Now we want to make sure that everything that enters this column is in the range of 100 to 200. We don't want to see any other number exceeding 100 to 200. Now, how do we do that? Okay, now first thing, you need to highlight the table. Okay, make sure this black arrow is pointing and you're selecting all the cells beneath the table. Okay, and then click on the data validation and then go to settings and then start. Now we want it to be values, right? So we'll come here and then select whole numbers. Okay, now we want it to be between minimum of 100 and then maximum of 200. Okay, now we click on OK. Now that rule has been applied within those range of cells that we just clicked on. Now let's try to impute a wrong value first. Now let's say I want to include let's say 12 and then hit enter. We get an error saying this value doesn't match the data validation and all of that. Okay, now let's try imputing the correct data. Let's say 100 and then hit enter. That is now acceptable in our table. Okay, now let's say we don't like this message. We don't like this message that comes up. We want it to be more descriptive and then the user will know the kind of data to enter and all of that. There's also a room for that in data validation. Okay, now what do? We come back to our data validation rule, highlighting all, come back to our data validation rule, and then on the input message. Now this input message gives a message when you hover around the cells that contains the rule. Okay, now let's say we want let's say a title of product ID, product, and then ID. Okay, and then the input message should be enter a valid ID, enter a valid product ID. Okay, now that is done. Okay, we click on OK on that. Now if you notice, the moment you click on this, you get that message, product ID, enter a valid product ID. Okay, now let's say we want to change the error message we get as well. There's also a room for that. Still on the data validation, come to the error alert here and then say the title should be invalid data. So invalid data. Now, what do you want to tell the user of the database when he gets this message? What you do is you type maybe what to enter. Let's say enter a or an ID between 100 and 200. 100 to 200. Okay, now that's a beautiful message to give back to our user should in case they encounter a problem. Now hit OK. Now let's test that and see if it works. Okay, now let's enter 12 and see the error message we get. It says invalid data, enter an ID between 100 and 200. Then click on retry. Now let's input 100 and then it works fine. Okay, now let's check out various data validation rules. Now in our product name, let's say our product name does not go beyond 15 characters. Okay, so let's put a restriction here so you don't enter anything anything more than 15 characters. Now same thing, highlight all the cells in the table and then come to data validation and then settings first. Now we are passing in text, okay, text length here, and then we're saying between, yes, between let's say 1 as the minimum and 15 as the maximum. Okay, now we're not going to click OK because we want to input a message. So what do they get here? Let's say we say enter, let's say product name here. Okay, let's put a space, and now the message will be enter a valid product name. Enter a valid product name. Okay, now the next one is the error alert. What do they get as a message when they make a mistake? Okay, now let's say invalid product name, invalid product name. Now, what does the message entails? Let's tell them the valid one. Our only restriction here is that it should not be more than 15 characters. So we tell them your or let's say the name entered, pardon me, the product name entered is more than 15 characters. Okay, now let's try this and see if it works. Now it says enter a valid product name. Now let's enter a wrong one, more than 15. Let's say cookie finesse. Okay, let's hit enter. Now you see it's more than 15 characters, so we get an error. Okay, now let's retry and enter a valid data. Let's say jumbo cookie. Now this is definitely less than 15 characters, so it's going to be passed in. Okay, that is how it works. Now let's do the same thing for the date. So data validation, settings, and now we select date here. I'm going to be a little bit fast. Now let's say between. Okay, let's say our delivery database only lasts for let's say 3 months. So we type our date and then let's say 2. Okay, let's start with 1/2/2023. Okay, now let's say it will end exactly 1/3/2023. Okay, now let's go to input message and then the title is delivery date. Okay, and the message is enter date delivered. Okay, and then the error message is let's say invalid, pardon me, with a capital letter IN. So invalid date. Okay, and the error message is the date should be between, now we write our date again, 1/2/2023 to 1/3/2023. Okay, and that is that. Then we click OK, and then our data has been entered. So now let's try a wrong date and see. So let's say 2/3/2023. Now we get an error message. Okay, now let's retry it. Let's simply change this to 1 and then hit enter. That is a valid date. Okay, now let's do the same thing for the time. Now on the time here, we do the same thing. Click here and then anywhere, time between, let's say our open hours are usually 9 to 5. Okay, so let's say 9:00 and then 5. In 24 hours, 5 p.m. is 12 plus 5, which is 17. So we say 17:00. Okay, now what's the input message? You say delivery time, delivery, and then time. Okay, the next one here, we have enter the delivery time. Okay, let's put in 24 hours so the person will know that we're working with the 24 hours clock and not the 12 hours. Okay, close the bracket. Now our error message is going to be invalid time. So then we put the time should be between, then we put it there, 9:00 to 17:00. Okay, and that is that. We click OK, and then now we have our rule. Okay, so what do we do now? Let's try a wrong time and see. Let's say 20:00. That is invalid, so we retry, and then let's use 19, pardon me, let's use let's say 10:00. Okay, that was accepted successfully. Now in this delivery status, let's say we want let's say yes or no. Okay, to know if it has been delivered or not, that's if the client has received or not. Okay, first thing first is to highlight the cells within the column there, and then click on data validation, and then come to settings, click on list. Okay, because we just want 2 data there. Okay, now in this case we don't have to do much, just include a source. In this source here we just type the data there, so yes, comma, no. So what will happen is we'll have a drop down of this data. Okay, now let's click on the input message, the title, and then say delivery status, and then here let's say select delivery status. Now because it is a list, there won't be any errors, so there won't be a need to fill in the error alert. Okay, now just click OK. Now we get a message saying select delivery status, so we just select from the drop down either yes or no. Okay, now the amount here, now let's work on the amount. Set a validation for the amount as well. Okay, in this amount case we're working with decimals, so we'll come here, settings here, and then we'll say decimals. Now we'll say between, let's say the list of our product is $2, so we say 2.00 to, and the maximum of our product is $10, so it shouldn't be more than that, 10.00. Okay, now the error message, the input message should be amount, and then the message should be enter the price, enter the price, pardon me, enter the price of the product. Okay, now our error message should be invalid data. Okay, now the message is enter price between, in bracket open, 2.00 to 10.00, then close brackets, and then hit OK. Now let's try to enter a wrong data. Now let's say 11.9. Now we get a message saying enter from 2.00 to 10.00. Now let's enter a valid data. Let's say 2.55 and then hit enter. That is accepted. Okay, now for the profit, we're going to pass in a data validation rule and also a formula. Okay, but first let's start with the formula. Now let's say in our company our profit is usually 10% of our amount here. Okay, now what do we do about that? We just type in a formula as simple as the way it is in English. So equals 10 and then percentage sign and then asterisk, and then the cell that contains the data that we are fetching the 10% of, and then hit enter. Okay, and this is our 10% of us of this. Okay, now let's say we need let's say an input message or any of those messages. So when you highlight here, you get that message that it is 10% of the amount. Okay, what we do now is now click on data validation and then go to settings. Okay, just leave the settings the way it is and come to input message. So whenever you hover around that particular column, you get this message. Now the message is going to be profit, let's say profit amount, and then our error message, our message pardon me, is going to be 10% of amount. Okay, and then hit OK. So whenever you clicked on this cell or you hover around it, pardon me, I put it on this one, I didn't put it on this one. So whenever you click on it, you will get that 10% profit amount. Okay, that's basically how we apply data validation to tables in Excel. Okay, now they actually come in very, very handy, more especially using this drop downs. Okay, you need a lot of them subsequently when you're working, so it's very important that you know how to make things like this. Okay, now sit back, relax, and continue practicing. Okay, then I'll surely see you in the next module. Don't forget to ask questions if you don't understand in the forum provided. Thank you very much and see you in the next part of the module.